The tax season opens today. For more on what to do, we speak to Chartered Accountant Sphume Dlungwane on Zoom. How can you check her out on Instagram as well and Facebook? Good morning, Sphume, and thank you so much for making time for us.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Okay, just explain to us what it means that the tax season is now open for income tax returns as well as provisional taxpayers.
Yes, so the tax season officially opens tonight at 8 p.m. And so that means that now, as if you are a registered taxpayer and you do qualify to submit your tax return, you can submit your tax return between the period of today and the 23rd of October, 2023. This is now for provisional taxpayers, but if you are a non-provisional taxpayer, you have until the 23rd of January 2024 to submit your tax returns. But what we have seen this week, the change that SARS has made is that they have now issued auto assessments between the 1st of July up till today. So what we've seen is that there's been certain taxpayers who have been issued auto assessments. And what we mean by auto assessments is that what SARS has done is that they've pre-populated and essentially completed your tax return on your behalf and submitted it. And so what we've seen is some taxpayers have actually received refunds during the week from SARS, even though tax season officially opens tonight and they haven't essentially submitted their tax returns, but SARS has done this on their behalf.
Okay, and for those who have gone through the auto assessment, can they also make submissions to SARS and make possibly disputes?
Yes, we do definitely encourage that when the tax season opens tonight at 8 p.m., perhaps you may just wait until Monday. We do encourage that you actually review your assessment that has been completed by SARS, because what SARS has done is that they've actually captured the information from all third-party players who have submitted the information on their behalf. So third parties may be your employer in terms of your RP5, who have issued your RP5, or it may be financial institutions, if you have any interest, if you have dividends, or if you have any retirement annuity, or it may be your medical aid institutions, if you have medical aid and you've been contributing during the year. But it may happen that you may have had additional income that SARS is not aware of, or you may have certain deductions. Maybe you've had certain donations, Section 18 donations, which you may deduct, and SARS may not be aware of. So we do encourage that if SARS has auto assessed you and has submitted your tax return, and you have perhaps been lucky to receive a refund, please also do check the information that SARS has submitted on your behalf, just to make sure that the information that is reflected by SARS is correct, because the onus is always on the taxpayer to make sure that the information that SARS has submitted is correct.
Yeah. And then at what point do you as a taxpayer head to the tax ombudsman if you have made those submissions and the dispute hasn't been resolved by SARS?
So SARS does give you, does in their correspondence, relay the information that it does take 60 days at times to resolve disputes. So before you head over to the tax ombudsman, I would rather request that you just allow the process to unfold with SARS, await the 60 days, await SARS correspondence for the 60 days, and then maybe communicate with them after the 60 days if they have not communicated with you as to the outcome of your application or your dispute. Should you not get any joy after the 60 days, should they not issue any correspondence, you can then head over and then lodge your disputes.
Yeah, and then with the auto assessment, let's say SARS says this is the amount of money that we owe you, and now you want to actually access that particular amount. What's the process that is followed there? And can you access that amount even though there's still a dispute, or would you need the dispute to be resolved first before that amount that is due to you is being made available to you?
So what we've seen with the auto assessments is that they've refunded certain taxpayers during the week. So the assumption is that there has been no dispute at all between the taxpayer and SARS. So they have refunded, so there should be no issues with regards to the refunds that have been issued. However, if you do find that there are issues with your tax return, and you may find that you may be seeking additional you may seek to input additional information on your tax return. Then you may contact SARS and request them to amend your returns in order for you to be able to input the additional information. But generally with refunds, they do refund you within 72 hours if there are no issues with your tax returns, if there are no disputes or directives that have been issued. The refunds are usually issued and paid quickly into the taxpayer's account. Only if they then request additional information and additional supporting information, it would then take longer for you to receive your refund, because that means that if they've requested additional information, your return is then undergoing an audit process, which generally takes longer and may take up to 60 days to conclude.
Yeah, and just based on the returns that are due to you, does SARS actually give interest on that particular amount?
Generally, because they refund us quite quickly as taxpayers, they don't generally issue interest if there's been a long outstanding amounts interest. You do, however, if there's been long outstanding interest that is due to SARS by you as a taxpayer, you are then charged interest on the outstanding amount.
Why? That doesn't sound fair. So I have money that's due to me that is sitting in SARS coffers, and SARS is collecting interest on that money, which is my money essentially. So why wouldn't SARS pay me out interest on my money? But when I owe them, they charge me an interest, and on top of that, even a penalty.
So if the interest, let me perhaps just rephrase it. If the refund that is due to you has been due for a long outstanding period, so for more than 30 days, then the interest then would then be charged. So you would be charged interest. It would be favorable to you. You would gain interest income. But generally, what we've seen with individuals, the turnaround time in terms of submitting your tax return and in terms of receiving your refunds is generally quite quick. So there's generally no need then to even levy the interest on the outstanding payments due to the individual.
And during this period, we're also seeing that the scammers are lurking around, and emails that are popping up and saying that click here, do this to access your returns. What is it that taxpayers should be aware of? What is it that they should be looking for?
Yes, so taxpayers must be aware of the spam emails that will be coming through from fraudsters who will be saying, please click on this link for you to update your banking details, for example, so that you can receive a refund. What is important to note is that SARS, when they issue correspondence, they do require you to either go onto the e-filing website and log in. You then need to log in with your user password as well as your login, or you can use the SARS mobile app in order to access your tax return. So as a user, you must never click on any file, on any link that is issued on email. Rather go onto the actual SARS website, input your details, and any correspondence that SARS sends to you as an individual, it will be saved on your personal e-filing profile. So you will never be required to click on any link. So please, just as users, as we are preparing to submit our tax returns, let's make sure that we go onto the SARS website or the SARS mobile app, or alternatively make an appointment to SARS to actually submit your tax returns. But we must not click on any link that we receive on email, SMS, or WhatsApp.
Okay. Just a final one that just came to mind now, Sphume, is around, so when you have medical aid, you are able to submit that certificate to SARS as part of the documents that you are submitting. But if you pay out of pocket, is there any way to prove to SARS that this is money that I have used out of my pocket to pay for my own medical bills?
Yes, so important if you have done that during the year is that you take a copy, have a copy of all the receipt of all the invoices that you've paid out of pocket that have not been covered by the medical aid. So make sure that you have that information when you are submitting your tax returns, because with that information, SARS will request that additional information because they will want to audit it, they will want to review it before your tax return is lodged and submitted and finalized. So important to make sure that you do have a file of that, so that if they do request it, you are able to submit it to them.
Yeah, and for people who would love to get some advice from you, how do they get in touch with you?
So let's connect on Instagram and Facebook. My name is Sphume Dlungwane, and I call myself your financial friend. So let's connect and continue the conversation.
Thank you so much for your time. That was a chartered accountant, Sphume Dlungwane, on the tax season.